I just had to call in because I think CNN is so liberal, and I think Fox is great.
I think that it's important.
Yes, I'd like to ask Brian to, on national television, admit he and his network are a bunch of liars about Donald Trump. The Inspector
Can you tell me
General
the lie?
Came out.
Can you tell me what lie?
The lie is that he cleared that protest out so he could be there. That was a lie that you and your network told, and that's all I got to say to you. I can't stand.
All right, that's Gordon this morning. Brian Stelter.
The Inspector General report is a big story that we've been covering on air. And of course, all the networks have this Inspector General report about the clearing of Lafayette Square, Lafayette Park.
Yeah. Mr. Stelter is the biggest minister of misinformation I have ever heard. And I'm a news junkie. This gentleman told the American people and his news organization, which he was pretty much had control over, for 4 years that there was Russia collusion. And actually, after all the $35-40 million of government investigation, come to find out there was zero collusion from the Trump administration and Russia. But Chris, he's such a bipartisan. What do you call him? What did he just say? He made the statement just a few minutes ago that he is all the stories are always evolving. Yeah, his stories absolutely evolve.
Brian Stelter.
Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. I think it is important that we all focus on what we do know to be true.
Yes, I was just wondering if you still feel like Michael Avenatti is the greatest thing in the world and should run for president of the United States.
That's
and
funny.
my suggestion is whatever CNN says, do the opposite and you'll be fine.
Thank you for the call.
Good morning. I get this in before I get hung up on. I'd like to know if Stelter there would have the guts to go on your show first thing, 7 in the morning, have an hour debate with Hannity, have 40 minutes of pro-Hannity, pro-Stelter callers in, separate from each other. Second of all, the heroes they had, Avenatti ripped off the handicap man, Lincoln Project, run by child predators. Cuomo killed 5,000 or 10,000 people, and now Fauci. So that's
all right, Harry, you bring up a lot of points. I will say, if Mr. Stelter, if we want to get you and Mr. Hannity at the desk here, we'd certainly have you both on if you want to take calls on it.
Yeah, listen, that's why I'm glad to be here. I think it's rewarding and helpful. It's helpful for me to hear from viewers. If Hannity wants to do it as well, I'm game. I think that
how many calls do you think we'd get in during that segment?
You'd have to launch a whole new channel. I think we'd have to.
I caught your coverage of, I think it's inauguration night. It reminded me very distinctly of actually the kind of flowery speeches you would expect to get out of eunuchs covering the Persian kings in the old days. Pretty shameless, if you ask me.
So, CNN is just something it's a joke. It's a joke. Right. This guy tells more lies, and Fox gives more news than CNN does in their...
What lie? What lie did I tell?
2 years. It's nothing but lies.
So Robert, the question... Robert, the question that Mr. Stelter is asking is, what specific lies are you referring to?
I'm in Philadelphia. I'm a conservative in Philadelphia. Very rare person. I just want to say a few things to you. Mr. Biden has been lying for 40-some years. Fox News is the top-rated news program, cable news. And I want to know about the Hunter Biden story. Why would you not carry anything about the Hunter Biden story, about his laptop and his lying and his drug use and that whole business?
Denise, I'll give Brian Stelter the last 2 minutes here.
I think it is important to cover the Biden family, and CNN has covered the Biden family, including Hunter. There are issues, of course, with the laptop. And when news outlets asked to see what was on that laptop computer, Rudy Giuliani and others rejected those requests. So, when we try to gather the news, when we are stymied, when we are when there are when there are obstructions, then that obviously is a challenge. But yes, we should and we do cover the Biden family. I read Hunter's book and I found it to be really compelling. Hunter Biden has gone through hell, much of it of his own making, of his own doing, and that has to be scrutinized.
Boom, roasted. Boom, roasted. All right. All right, everybody. You know I kid.